Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about the things here in Thailand that give expats anxiety, things that cause stress for expats. The first thing is going to be communication barriers. So a lot of times you think you're explaining yourself in English correctly, or well, even Thai, if you know a little bit of Thai, and you'll think they understand you and they will act like they understand you, but they don't. So you may not get what you wanted or what you anticipated, and it can cause stress because you pay for something. Let's say it's something they're going to hand make and in a week deliver it. Then you get it delivered and it's not what you wanted, and you get all upset about it. These things happen on a regular basis. Communication issues are probably the number one stressor here in Thailand that goes on a daily basis on almost everything. It's not the Thai people's fault. It's our fault for not communicating properly in their language. Even if you're trying to speak Thai, a lot of times they'll act like they understand what you're saying when you're saying it in a wrong tone and they have no idea what you are saying. The next thing would be the cultural differences that are here in Thailand. So there's a lot of etiquette and things that foreigners moving here aren't used to. I know I, as an American, was not used to the whole taking the shoes off all the time. I wasn't used to, their bowing, there's all these little things that you need to get used to. It does stress out people sometimes because there are a lot of things that you need to remember. Like, for instance, the Thais, if you go to a restaurant and the Thai people are serving you, notice carefully that they're only using their right hand. They're not using their left, because in this society, the left hand is considered dirty, nasty. Yeah, left-handed people, that doesn't really help you a whole lot. Whoops. So the right hand is used for everything going back and forth between two people. You also don't touch children on top of the head. You also do not point with your foot at an item. Let's say you're going up to a vendor who has all of their things that they're selling down on the ground on, let's say, a blanket. You don't use your foot to point to an item and go, I want that. So there's all these social etiquette things that you need to keep in mind. Causes people some stress sometimes. Again, almost in every video, I gotta bring up visa and paperwork. Visas are gonna be a huge stressor here. It all depends on what kind of visa you have and what the requirements are for your visa, because depending on the visa you have, you may need to check in every 90 days with immigration. And if you don't have a visa service that can do it for you, you're going to have to do it yourself, which means every 90 days you get to go to the immigration and either wait in line, or sometimes it can be done online, but it's just something you're going to need to remember to do every 90 days. Now, if that was it, that wouldn't be so bad. But there's other qualifying things, like if you had an ED visa and you're in a language school, when you go in for your 90-day visa, they're going to quiz you in Thai to make sure you're learning Thai. If not, they could deny your visa. And also, if you're on a retirement visa, they're going to check your financials. You also have to have insurance requirements while you're here in Thailand. So these things wrapped up in a bunch called visa is a big stressor for many, many expats living here in Thailand. Inefficiency. Inefficiency can be a huge stressor to a lot of people, especially if you're some sort of perfectionist or you're somebody who just enjoys efficiency, because you're going to see things in Thailand that you would do differently, and it kind of aggravates you the way some things are just done the hard way. And it could, going back to the visa, it could be a visa process or a form they need. It may not make any sense to you. It's not very efficient. Fill in the blank with whatever scenario you want. But there are some things that aren't very efficient. Now, I will say there are some things here in Thailand, a lot actually, that are more efficient than things where I came from in America. A lot more efficient. So we can sit there and point fingers at things we don't think are very efficient, but we need to be able to point things back to our home country and say, yeah, things aren't perfect there either. Now, another stressor for people is heat and humidity. Some people are just sick of sweating all the time and having increased laundry because you're constantly changing your shirt, anything, your pants. I mean, you're just sweating to death. So that causes a lot of stress for people, and they feel like sometimes they can't get out and enjoy things in, let's say, the hottest months like March, and April, some of May, very, very hot here. So some people, the heat is definitely a stressor. The next one would be traffic and pollution. Yes, the traffic can be very stressful. I know a lot of expats who don't even drive here. They're just terrified of it. Or other people who drive but only a limited distance from their house. So the stressors for driving here are real. It is dangerous. If you're driving a motorcycle, well, or a car, it's just dangerous. Matter of fact, when you're driving a car, you have to concentrate on not hitting a motorcycle. Another stressor for expats is noise. And yeah, that could be in your own community that you live in. So you're at home, it's the middle of the day and there's a lot of noise, or the middle of the night, even worse, and they're having a street party down the road, or there's a temple down the road, they're doing loud chants, or at 6 something in the morning over the loudspeakers that are all over your neighborhood, the Buddhist temple is doing some sort of readings over the loudspeakers to wake you up. So sometimes the noise can be an issue and a stressor for some people. I would tell you, if you think that's going to be a stressor for you, make sure your house or wherever you're staying, whether it's a condo or whatever, is in a place that is quiet. And I would check that location during the day and during the night just to see what it was like before I signed a lease agreement. Another stressor for expats is loneliness and isolation. You can feel alone here in Thailand if you want, or you can actually get out and make some new friends. So the people I have seen who suffer from loneliness and they just want to go back home, they never tried. They never got out of their house. They never got to know other people. They're basically an introvert, and they came over here and continue to be an introvert, and now even their closest friends that they had back home aren't around them and they just can't handle it, stresses them out, they feel lonely, they want to leave. If that is your personality type and you know good and well that you're going to come over here and be introverted and not go out and try to make friends, loneliness as a stress could be an issue for you. So consider that before considering moving here for a long period of time. Health concerns can be a stressor for some. The people who wig out from every little thing that goes on in the news. So a lot of times you'll see in the news that dengue and other mosquito related diseases are on the rise, malaria here in Thailand, and now they're afraid of the mosquitoes because there's mosquitoes year round. Now they're not horrible, but they are here, and in certain times of the day they will get you. So if you're worried about getting one of those sicknesses and you're scared to death of mosquitoes, Thailand may not be the place for you, because again, this is a tropical environment. So there's mosquitoes all year long. They are bearable, they are manageable. You can put on bug spray. They have plenty of it here. You don't need to bring it from your home country. They sell it at the 7-Eleven, at most 7-Elevens. So you can combat the mosquito issues here. But if you're going to get stressed out about that, you may want to consider it. Ordering food stresses out a lot of people. I've seen some arguments go on between foreigners and the Thai waiting staff because they do not serve all the food all at the same time. So let's say you were the party of 4, one person may get their meal 15 minutes before the rest of you get it. Or one gets it 5 minutes, the next one gets it 10 minutes later, and the other 2 get it 15 minutes later. No, this is a thing here in Thailand. Don't get irritated about it. Know ahead of time that it's going to happen, and you'll be a lot less stressed. Another stressor is inconsistencies with businesses. They will advertise that they're open, let's say 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Only you go there during their work hours on a Tuesday and they're closed. Or your favorite restaurant says they're open every day of the week and you go to order it or stop by to pick it up and they are not open. So just know that that is a thing here in Thailand. There isn't a whole lot of consistency with a lot of the smaller businesses here. As you would expect, mom and pop places, they kind of like, well, this morning, don't feel like working today, so we're not open. So if you're really depending on a business, you may want to check ahead of time before you go out to visit that business or you try to order from them. And the last on our list is the non-direct answer, or let's call it the non-confrontational yes. So a lot of times you're dealing with people and you ask them if they could do something for you. They say yes. They really mean no. You will never hear from them again. You will think that you're going to receive the item or they are working on it, and they're not, because they're not going to tell you they can't do something. It is a real thing here. Happens all over Thailand. It will cause you stress. If you didn't know about this, I'm telling you about it ahead of time. so it won't cause you as much stress. Well, that's all we have for you for right now. If you feel so inclined, buy us a coffee. Link down in the description. We'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, I'm going to close this video by saying, Khap Kun Khap.